we are live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Box. Tonight is it is March 1st,
It is.
2021. It is. Good God, where'd the time go? And tonight we have got Mr. Tom Althouse with us. And of course, we have Penny Shepherd from the Awake Nation and the Dark Outpost with her and David Zublick. We have our very talented and brain-filled Susie. So, how you doing today, Penny?
I'm doing all right. We had a fabulous show today. We started a new segment with Tom. It was Tom's idea, the inception of the idea. And we're calling it the Dream Team. And it's kind of like Matrix meets Stranger Things. And so we're sharing the concept of breaking down dreams that actually come true, visions, and then utilizing that with super soldier programs, DARPA, etc. And then we're also going to do movies are real because we know that the military industrial entertainment complex creates movies that are predicated upon actual real life people, and they don't actually have any knowledge of it, which is kind of like the Matrix meets Stranger Things as well. And so we're forging through that. We're going to be doing decodes about the various things in movies. And I mean, this is an endless kind of subject. By the way, Tom, I don't know if you know, but Susie is actually the real Susie in Stranger Things. And when we met each other, my handler said, "How did you guys find one another?" And I was like, "I found her on Facebook. I asked for prayer on Facebook." And she said, "I will pray for you." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." And then we started talking. And, when I got out of the crazy house and I went to a super soldier's house, then I ended up at a house which was a CIA house, believe it or not. The lady that was renting was also renting to a lady that said that she was writing a nonfiction book, but she said, "Yes, I worked for the CIA at HQ." Do you know what that is, Penny? And I'm like, "Yeah, I know what that is. That's Langley." And she said, "Yes, I worked on the Russia desk." I'm like, "The Russia desk? How nice." And then, "How nice for you." And then within like 5 days, I was asked to leave there because I was talking about MK Ultra. And so I prayed and I asked God, "Please, help me." And then she told me like at 11 o'clock that night when I came back, I said, "Okay, well, I'll need my deposit back." And I sent out 300 emails. One person answered the email, and she met me and took me back to her place. She met me with her husband, and then I looked up the name of the place. It was called Socorro, and it was in Texas because I was in Las Cruces in Mexico, and I looked it up, and Socorro means help. Mm-hmm. So I'd asked God, "Please help me. I need help." And he sent me to a town called Help. So people, Brenda's over there laughing. So people,
okay, this is why I'm laughing. So my dog's on top of the pillows, and I have small pillows there, and he's bumping them with his head to knock them over. Now he's standing in front of me, like lunging at me, like, "Come get me, come get me." I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's so
cut it out. So basically, God sent me to a town called Help. So people say, "God doesn't answer you." Yes, he does. He answers you very loudly. And then I had spoken to Susie, and I said I wanted to interview her. So I said, "I'm going to have to wait till the end of the month when I get paid." And she says, "No, you come now. I'm going to send you $200. No, it's like, no one sends me money. She's like, "No, I'm sending you money. I want you come now." So I was like, "Okay, then." So I went to her ranch. That's the first time I met Joel. He came in the little, what do you call those things? Little Coleman thing to the gate and took me in there. I didn't know where I was going. I thought I was going to somebody's house, not their ranch. And then I stayed there. I packed enough for like 2 weeks. And about the third week, I said, "I'm not going to interview you, am I?" And she says, "No." And I said, "Well, I'm going to have to go back and pay rent." She says, "No, you come here. You can stay here. You can rent from me." And I was like, "Seriously? Like forever?" She said, "Yes, forever." And so I said, "All right." And that started, pretty much our relationship. And we found out that we had the same things in common. We had dreams that came true. We both love God. We found out things about the Bible that we didn't know before. And I told her, "You're in Stranger Things," and she's like, "No, I don't think so. I don't even like Stranger Things." So I was like, "Well, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. You're in it." And then the next season, because I said, "Well, if you're not in it now, you'll be in it next season," because they know that where I am. And the next season, the very first show was Susie, do you copy? And I was like, "Oh, yeah." And they were saying, "Who the hell is Susie?" And I said, "Well, I know who the hell Susie is. I'm at a ranch." And so then we start watching it, and then it falls into place because Susie had a son named Dustin who died, and Dustin has been in it all along. And Dustin, her baby, Dustin that died, Dustin in Stranger Things is one of Eleven's best friends. So Dustin, who the hell Susie is Dustin is Susie's boyfriend. And Susie lives in Utah. And Susie's ex that she thought was dead, she found him when I moved in, and he lived in Utah. And I was like, okay, that's you. And she also has what they call microwave hearing. So she can hear people at a distance. She has dreams that come true. She has, certain powers to admonish demons. Susie, introduce yourself.
Yeah, go ahead, Susie.
How are you?
Good.
That's good. Yeah,
So-
we have ancestral connection because my birth name is Altfather, and the Altfathers married the Althouses like 6 generations back. So I said the father was in the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty fun.
And then I also told her that we'll be bringing people in and out of the team.
Right.
So, we'll have some sessions where we bring somebody in. So Susie's got this foundational biblical knowledge. She read the Bible 7 times. And I was telling her about something the other day, and she said, we were talking about water. And I think I might have told her about your dream about water. If you'd like to share it with her. And she told me the meaning of water in the Bible. She said when they tell them about the demons and the pigs.
You talking about that story where Jesus cast the demons into the swine, and then the swine jump off the cliff into the water. So, and then you have in Revelations it talks about the beast coming out of the sea, or the everything coming out of the water. So it's like in the Christian belief, a lot of the demons come from the water, whereas in the Aramaic belief, they have a belief that the demons are made from smokeless fire. So like hell. So you have fire or water that's relating to what demons are kind of connected to.
I'm going to have to watch that show with you and Tom on it, because I'm also one that since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, I dream things that come true. But as I've gotten older, I've got the ability that in my dreams, after the second one, I can change them.
Right.
I change my dreams in my dreams.
Right.
Right.
It blows my mind when it happens. I don't know how I do it, but I just do it.
Right.
If I don't like the outcome, that's it. It's done. Out of here. So
So
I'm
I
gonna
was
have to
telling
watch
Susie also that in the 80s, when I was living with my husband, Steve Zenos, I watched Dreamscape with Dennis Quaid, and it changed my life.
That's wild, Penny, because I actually pitched the Dream movie with the Immortals to Bonaventura. And that's why they have Neo flying in the Matrix, because in the Dream movie, he said, "What else do you have?" In the Dream movie, my character is experimented on, and they learned that he can escape dangers in his dream by flying, which is part of the lucid dream experience if you learn to fly. And so then they do a group experiment where this became Inception too, where a group experiment was done where he was hooked up to the rest of the inmates, and he was responsible for them, but he couldn't save them, any of them. And but that's why Neo flies in the Matrix, because Bonaventura had me pitch the Dream movie with the Immortals. So Neo's not supposed to fly. In fact, if he flies and has these Superman powers, and that's why they use phone booths, which is stupid. They're just mocking the work. And
Mhm.
so it doesn't make any sense, does it? Why, if you have phone booths that you can run to, then the Smith agents would be all over the phone booths. Just bug the phone booths, and you got like a mousetrap for anybody inside the,
Right.
inside the underground.
So Tom, tell everybody about you and what's going on with you.
Well, what's funny is when I wrote this screenplay, which is The Immortals, which they turned into The Matrix. Now we have a copyright entries here. We can show you on share sometime, where Tom Hanks is listed as the writer commissioned and ordered by Warner Brothers to write The Immortals. They're not even trying to hide it. Tom Hanks isn't a writer; he's an actor. But he was supposed to be my mentor in Hollywood, my mentor. So he's listed as ordered and commissioned and certificate of authorship of this piece, but they list only 2 pages. This is 128. So you see them making so much stupid mistakes. And I was writing to.
Was it Tom Hanks?
Do you have a share screen?
Yes.
Okay. Help me. If I'm set for share screen, I'll show you this most amazing document. Can't be denied. You ready? Watch this. Share screen. Understand. Let me proceed. Whatever that is. Go to. I guess window is what they let me do. Oh no! I get to do the entire screen. Okay. Can you see my page?
Can you see it, Linda?
Whoa, what's
Okay, you see bunches of pages.
Yeah, what is going on? Okay.
You see the Matrix.
Do you see, is it still bunches of pages?
Yes, you moved it, but
Okay, let me try the other one. One second, one last one. I got to show you.
I don't know this platform as well as I know mine. So right now I'm like on the guest.
I can.
Wait, here we go. I got it now. I got it. Okay, is it showing? What's it doing? Like put it in the
It's
middle.
I'll tell you what. Send it to Penny's messenger. Penny, send it to mine, and I'll be able to do it from here.
This is nuts. Okay, you want me to put it on an email or take
Well,
it?
he's just trying to.
However-
Can't he just share his screen or?
Try one more time.
That's
Let
what
me
I
see
am
can do.
doing.
Understand? It says entire screen. Now, why is it doing 1,000 images? It's probably going to do it right again.
Because it's actually sharing. It's sharing our show.
Okay, so it wants to keep doing that, huh?
Can you just tell it to share, like a tab or share?
Try. Let me see.
I put everything in PowerPoint.
Okay, hold on.
It's a little too late to do that right now, but
Oh, shoots and ladders. Okay, let me see what I can do. Yeah, because I definitely want you to see this. This would be definitely. Look at it go. Okay, window.
there we go.
Window. Entire screen. No.
Can you share window?
Yeah, I'm on window, but it keeps wanting to do this whole thing. The site will be able to see, choose what to share. Is there a way just to set me as the person sharing? Maybe it's trying to share all our screens.
Let me look and see if I can.
If you isolate me, maybe that will work. I don't know if that's going to be something I can do. Oh my goodness, I got to show you this.
I can't actually help.
Yeah, if you can help.
I can't
Okay.
because I'm not admin.
All right, I'm trying one more time. Sometimes it
Tom.
works. Yeah.
Send it to Penny's messenger.
You mean take a picture on Messenger or?
Of the
send me
image?
one.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get something up here to actually share too.
Yeah. Because if I can get a hold of it, then I.
Oh, there's
can
Messenger.
share it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Then send the image to my messenger and then I'll send it to you on your messenger.
Let me see if it lets me on. It may
I'm
not.
calling you for some reason.
I don't know why.
Goodness. Okay,
All
here we
right.
go. Open Messenger for Mac. Open Messenger.
This is high tech stuff.
It's-
Susie's like,
We're gonna
what?
get there. We're gonna get there. It's a great idea to tag it in there. So I want you to see this. This is just blow away. So to see how far they went.
Because I actually believe that Tom Hanks is Opus Dei. He's one of the heads of Opus Dei.
He is one of the biggest leaders in the whole
Yes.
shebang. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I need Penny, right? I'm going for Penny.
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can
Now,
find you.
On
Almost there.
I am.
Almost there. Okay, one second. I
Now,
want you to
Penny.
see this so bad.
On your
Penny,
screen,
there you are. Okay, here we go. I'm on Penny Show. Here we go. Okay, I'm going
On
to
your
pop this
screen,
on. Hope I can just drag
you'll
and push.
see
Right? Drag
share.
and go.
push the share. A window will pop up.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Once you
You
have
got
on
it. So now I'm on this.
A
I'm just
window
see if I
will
can
pop up.
backdrop.
Hit that, and then turn around and put it.
Where'd my
Wait.
thing go?
I don't know.
I
But
have no idea what you guys
There,
are
I got
doing.
it. Okay, here we go. Hold on. I'm going to try just drag drop right now. What's going on here? There we go. Okay, good. Let's try it. Ready? Drag, drop. It's working. Hang on. And send. See if this first goes through. Woohoo! All right.
All right,
So-
I don't see anything though.
It should be coming through any moment. You'll see it. And then
All right.
you see it?
Yes. Okay,
Good.
so
All that
Send
up
it to
in
my
here.
messenger, Penny.
hold on.
I want you to see this, some of this stuff here, just to lay this out. And
Okay, sent.
okay, now I'm going to show you the images of the Dream movie real quick.
One
This is very important, which they put in the animatrix. The animatrix was what they used, what they didn't get to make up off my script on set. They used up in the animatrix in shorts, using up the ideas in shorts. It makes sense? So that's how they ripped it off finally, is just using animatrix as the catch-all for everything they didn't get to use up when they were making up the film as they went along. Now, one last thingy bingy I want to show you.
Tom, turn off your share screen. That's what's wrong. Go ahead,
Your share
because I've
screen's
got
still
it.
on? Okay, hold
I've
on.
got it that
Let
I'm
me turn
bringing
it
up.
off. Let me turn that off. Let me go back to here.
Okay, I sent them both to you, Brenda.
There you go.
Okay, I'm getting
And
them.
now, one last thingamabinga. I want to show you this. This will be fun. Okay, here it comes. All right, there you go. This is going to be cool. Oh, 1 second. 1 second, and then I will yield this one and this one. Okay, let's talk. Here you go. Sending. All right, all these. If we can just, I want to show you how far they went. In film, you're not allowed to even accidentally use someone's actual name, phone number, or things like that, because it'll be copyright infringement. So that's why they like to focus on groups of us that they take interest in, and there'll be relations like we said in Lost. You know, Jack, Shepard, Penny, Thomas, Tom Sawyer. Yeah, they'll mix us together because that keeps it interesting for them as they try to either comply with copyright law or just mock others and look like they're complying. So they usually do the latter. Okay, did it come through okay?
I do not know why.
Okay, so I got your copyright thing. I'm looking at it myself.
Okay, if we pop that up, I want to show you just what's going on there. It is unreal.
How is that possible that they put Tom Hanks as the creator? I don't understand.
That's what we're talking about. Look what it says. It says he is the let me read it. I'll read on my end too. Yeah. So look at that right there. I'll call mine up myself so I can actually read it. Now listen to what the language is. This is from the Copyright Office. You can look this up right in the Copyright Office. So you have in 1998, I submitted in 93, right? In 1998, you have Tom Hanks ordered and commissioned by Warner Brothers. And to what? Write The Immortals, and then it says certificate of authorship and assignment. So they assigned him to steal it, right? And in it, it says date of execution, June 25th. The submission letter up there in the middle is dated June 25th. We submitted in June 25th with tracking number receipt 1993, so he puts June 25th, 98. It's just they're all over the place. They're so stupid. And so Tom Hanks isn't a writer, he's an actor. He was also supposed to be my mentor in Hollywood. So it says Immortals, The Immortals, by Tom Hanks, employee for hire, and it's 3 pages long. 3 pages long? My script's 128 pages, right? So then they have Wendy Wasserstein, also ordered, it says work for hire, Wendy Wasserstein, the famous Jewish playwright from the Heidi Chronicles on Broadway. Not a filmmaker, but
From what? What?
She's the writer of the Heidi Chronicles. She's a Jewish playwright who wrote the Heidi Chronicles. So they brought her
Wait a
in.
minute. The what protocols?
Heidi Chronicles.
Okay.
So what happens is you got Tom Hanks, a writer, Wendy Wasserstein, a playwright. They're both being given certificate of authorship to claim the Immortals. They're being ordered and commissioned by Warner Brothers to steal the work. It's unreal. It's unreal. In 1998, saying it's released in 1999 when Matrix comes out. Just think of the enormity of this. All right, this is huge. That's like saying former President Obama is commissioned and ordered by Warner Brothers to write The Immortals, aka Matrix. There's no copyright on the Matrix, only on The Immortals, my title. That's something. And then see the submission letter up there? There's a submission letter. If you blow it up, it says June 25th, Warner Brothers, 4000 Warner Brothers Lane, certificate, certified mail, receipt tracking number to story department, head of the story department, care of Elizabeth, who's Bonaventura's friend, the exec who had me pitch it to him and explain it. And then to the right, you see The Immortals. So the Wachowskis were supposed to take one of the titles, one of the many titles under The Immortals. Now, it says 294 entries for Immortals under their entry. So what they did was copyright a bunch of titles that all these other studios can steal this work, The Immortals, and use a subtitle under it, see, and still be listed as The Immortals copyright. Isn't that something? It's insane. And so what you have is this whole system of theft where it ends up, what they do finally in the end is they claim that the investment companies created it, not Tom Hanks, not Wendy Wasserstein, but the biggest investment firms in the world created The Immortals. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Isn't that something? So what you have is the biggest, stupidest theft in the world.
Right.
They made sure there was no due process. So we're looking at the biggest theft. And even when Roseanne Barr called recently, she said, I watched every interview she's probably watching now. And she said that, this is the biggest story. And so what's interesting is it's got the attention of the elite. Hollywood all knows that the work is copyrighted by this author right here. They know that. And that's why they've been trying to entice me to work with them. It's an insane story. Anyway.
Wow.
But remember the Dream movie? And I'll shut up in a second. But you get those 3 images from the Dream movie?
Actually, yeah. Give me a moment, and I'll come in here, and I will.
I want you to see this. Watch.
I will.
They really screwed up the Matrix. They screwed up the Matrix because what they did was the Wachowskis blended the 2 movies I pitched. Now, here's the mentality of the Wachowskis. They want to use up the story, like Joel Silver said. Use up the story. Use everything that seems innovative and new. So they're going to mix the 2 together. Well, if you mix the 2 together, the story's not going to hold together anymore. Neo's not supposed to fly. He's not supposed to have superhuman powers. And for heaven's sake, don't put phone booths in it because you think it's cool that he's like Superman. Oh my gosh. It's so stupid.
I never did understand that. I mean, they're see-through anyway. It's not like you can sneak anything.
Not supposed to be there, Brenda.
Is it this one?
Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, my name is Tom Park Althouse. Now, this was pointed out to me. Otherwise, I never would have known this. In the remember I said in the Animatrix, they use up whatever they didn't use on set from the visual storyboard, but they're lifting, right? So they finish making up as they go along. Right? There you go. So he turned an antique shop into an antique house. Why? The last part of the name. Then they have
Put your name
it's
in
an
it.
antique shop full of clocks with my birthday on it. Why? 7-2. And why? They go T-O-M, then Park's my middle name in the middle backwards. See how the green squares? P-A-R and the ghost K? It's all been pointed out to me. And then you've got A. He's pointing at the L. The T is the highest contrast dead center. If you squint, the T will pop at you. And so what you have is Tom Park Althouse. And what's cool is you take the letters and go like this. Just put the letters in line. They all line up perfectly for the name. Isn't that amazing? You know how expensive this graphic is? It's super, super expensive to make this graphic just to mock the author.
Where is this graphic from?
Animatrix, when they use up the stuff. The same thing with
there's Tom in there?
Tom Park Althouse. Park, my middle name.
Oh my God.
Tom Park Althouse, and all the clocks are basically 7-2. That's something? Isn't that crazy? And then
That is.
the clock, that clock I sent you is also Animatrix. And if you can call it that clock, let's take a look at that. They're so stupid.
Let me go retrieve it.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to survive all this, right? But yeah, if you put up the clock. Okay, now this is, that's right, it's cool. This is actually the most important moment in the Dream movie I pitched. The most important point. It's the last segment they put in the shorts of the Animatrix. So it was the last thing they did was what they thought was the coolest, and I thought was the coolest too. So those 3 images, what you have is you have a person looks like they're floating in the air, right? Floating in this dream world. You've got the robot person going to touch the individual, and you have the person freaking out. Now, let me tell you the dream movie as I pitched it to Bonaventura and why the Wachowskis put these 3 images in the Animatrix. Are you ready? In the dream movie, my character has a friend who's being experimented also. So he has a friend. He was killed in the dream like a shark attack and was mangled. So he's gruesomely mangled, right? Whatever happens in the dream happens to your body. They've used it a lot now. And so what happens is the last part, one of the most important parts of the dream movie was he enters a dream and sees his deceased friend mangled in the dream. Because he's been so much in the dream world in these experiments, he decides that he might be able to heal his friend if he just touches him. So he's talked, and his friend is all mangled, talking in a normal voice to him, going, "What's wrong, Jim? What's wrong?" And he says, "I'm just going to touch your shoulder. I'm just going to touch your shoulder." And he believes that maybe he can heal his friend in the dream. That's how the dreams work on us. So he touches his friend, just as it shows on the screen, and he freaks out, like jump scare, like, rah, you know, like, because it's in the dream. They put that as the end of Animatrix. There it is. The woman, the beginning figure, is deceased. The robot AI puts her in the dream, tries to resurrect her by going to touch her, and she freaks out. That is the dream movie's most pivotal moment that I pitched in detail to Bonaventura, along with the Immortals Matrix story. Is that amazing?
Wow.
So the Wachowskis want to use that up also. Besides putting Tom Park ALTHOUSE on the screen, exactly in order, just lowering it, raising letters, but the audacity to have the guy pointing at the L since it's out of place, and to have the highest contrast on the T. They think they're being clever, but it lines up perfectly. Then if you look at the clock, and I'll let you guys take over from there. If you go that clock, the big clock,
Oh, okay.
that's going to be a blowaway. Okay, they don't stop. They don't stop. They're going to rub it in Warner Brothers' face for, they were angry at Warner Brothers. They stuck all my author stuff in there. And keep in mind, no copyright in the Matrix, only the Immortals.
I think I only got 3 of them. The one
Yeah,
that you showed.
Yeah, get the clock up and you'll be good to go, and I'll shut
Do
up.
you have another one? Do you have another one, Penny?
I can show. Well, if my phone's here, I can show you on my phone. Where's
Okay.
the phone at?
Because yeah, I only received.
You didn't go through.
No, you didn't get the clock?
They wouldn't want this.
Yeah, I only received those 3
Where's my phone.
pictures that I had up.
Did I send it to you?
Hold on a second. Yeah, you did. I have it.
Yeah,
Let
okay,
me,
good. Can you
let
call
me
it
just
up
send it to her.
or snap it on your phone and hold it up? It's really cool. This is one of the coolest things that was done. And keep in mind, these graphics cost a fortune to render. And if you're going to do a real expensive graphic, it has to have a purpose for the film, right?
Yeah, it's in there, Brenda. I sent it to you.
You see the yellow gold clock, the gold
You see the yellow clock?
gold alarm clock. You see it? This is
It's
pretty
it.
cool.
Wait a minute. Hang on. That's what
Here.
happened.
Oh, good, you
Sent
got it.
to me
Okay.
in 3s,
This
so
is
hang
worth
on.
the wait. This is worth it. This is worth it.
I'm looking for it here. They were sent in. Okay, there it is. All right.
Good. Okay.
One
Now watch
second,
this.
and I'll go ahead and share
is really
this.
cool. This is perhaps the stupidest thing the Wachowskis did. This is the dumbest thing they did.
I'm just freaking out about the Tom Hanks thing.
Isn't that something? And he was supposed to be my mentor in Hollywood. When I was out in Hollywood, he was supposed to be my mentor along with Ron Howard.
Well, maybe it's
Along with Ron Howard.
Ron Howard and Tom Hanks were supposed to. Yeah, this clock.
Maybe it's a good thing that.
Okay, this is amazing. Okay, see the clock. This is in Animatrix also, right? They want to rub it in the author's face in 2003. So you see the 7, the black hands on the 7? See that?
Yeah.
Black hand on the 2, right?
Yeah.
Now look at the black hand that goes up. It's just off the dot to the left of it, right?
Yep.
So on 60 points on the clock, you're at 59. You're at the point before 60. So what you have is 7/2/59. My birthday is 7/2/59, July 2nd, 59. They put my exact birthday on the clock. And the red hand, see the red hand?
Yeah.
4 points past the 4, I was 44 in 2003. So my age is red, my birthday is black exactly. Couple that with Tom Park ALTHOUSE across the screen. Couple that with the first interrogation graphic, which I sent you. Did that go through to you?
Yeah, I probably got it. Let me go.
All right, let's do that one more, and I'll be quiet because you got to see the package here. And think as you do the probability of having all these entries in the franchise.
What is this?
Okay, you ready for this? This is the first graphic in the Matrix. First graphic created and shot. So the most important one of the Wachowskis. They say there's all this stuff you'll never know about. Okay, this graphic is from the rap sheet. The first scene they shot was the interrogation scene. It's out of order. First scene I wrote was the interrogation scene, right? Preceding them. On this, you're going to see July 22nd? Okay, we found out from USA Insurance that I was being erased when Matrix came out. In 1996 and 1999, after I submitted, they changed my birthday to July 22nd and struck my social security number. So I was being erased. So they said, USA Insurance said, your birthday's listed as July 22nd. So they put July 22nd. So they knew that my information had been struck and my birthday changed. They put it right in the first graphic when they're stealing it with Tom Hanks being listed. Now watch this. Thomas A, no brainer. Why do you double name a character? If the character's name is Neo, his name is Neo. You don't need to call him Neo and Thomas A. It confuses audiences. But if you're stealing from the original author, you can call him Neo and Thomas A because you're stealing from Thomas A. Anderson is my Scottish clan name. Now watch this. See that March 11th under it? Date of Neo's birth. This is the date of Neo's. This is Neo's rap sheet. So March 11th is Neo's birthday. March 11th is my fiance's birthday, who pitched it to Bonaventura with me, Otika Ball. So that's my fiance's birthday is Neo's birthday. My birthday is twisted on the top, and there's my name, my Scottish clan name. That's not all. You go down to my marital status. You can also go down to his father's name is John. My dad's name was John. Here's the big one. Look at the school. I went to Central West High. Central West High is Neo's school. See it? So you got my high school birthday, fiance's birthday, my name, my Scottish clan name, my dad's name, my marital status, and that's not all. In the column, it says TA 4099. Remember the clock with my exact birthday and age on it?
Right.
TA was 40 and 99. Now, you know what 380 is? It's numerology. If you look it up, 380. So you have TA 4099. This is a claim they're making. They're saying, like witchcraft, they're saying Tom Althouse, 40 in 1999. We put numerology 380 on him, which translates something like this. To take your most cherished worldly possessions to help you prepare for your death. Well, what's my most worldly cherished possession? My sons and my screenplay. And what happened to my sons? They were murdered. So they fulfilled 380 in numerology with TA 4099. But I'm still alive. And I didn't crumble. And I'm not put away. They tried. And now I'm doing shows. And we have the copyright. There's no copyright on the Matrix. We hold it. They're finished. Now, they did provide their own attorney to throw the case, but that's fraud. Complete fraud. We got on tape. Right. On tape, they're saying they have no working drafts. Anyway, isn't this wild? There's no way we can lose if there's due process. They denied us all due process, so it's a fraud case. So, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and... isn't this wild? So just think of the influence and power we would have to correct the timeline that they hijacked by being the actual author and team being name credit back for the work. Do you think people would pay attention?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope so. Susie, did you have a question?
Okay, Tom, did you say something about Michael Laney from Walt Disney? Did you have some kind of connection with him?
Oh, I have had run-ins with him. He chewed me out with F-bombs and everything on a taped phone call I had with him. Mike Lang at Disney, Harvey Weinstein's boss. He's the one that slept with my honeypot wife.
Okay, Michael Lane or Michael Laney?
Mike Lang, L-A-N-G. Disney, look him up. They made him disappear, but Mike Lang appeared in 1993 as the executive in charge of strategy for acquisition of intellectual property. So what it translates to is the guy they chose to steal intellectual property for Disney. They call my screenplay the Disney Library. They want to use up the story. And so what they did was they formed Miramax Films in order to be the laundering machine for Disney. And Mike Lang headed Miramax Films. When I submitted in 93, he became the executive of it in 1993. So that's what happened. Now, Mike Lang, on my birthday, after the case was all thrown through their own supplied attorneys, right, on both sides, Mike Lang sends emails like an idiot. Is he at Zion? Mike Lang, is he at Zion? Like an idiot, he sends emails to my pop wife calling her back for doing the job. Done. So my son loses his biological mom, and she goes to the mistress pad. This is what also is great about this. He sends emails listing his mistress pad in Spokane, Washington, Playground Hollywood, and says, Becca, move in with me for 60 days to his mistress pad. The thing in Hollywood is if you sleep with the writer's wife, you have cockled him. You have made him a laughingstock. You're better than him, caveman mentality in their mind. By sleeping with your wife, you've proven you're the better man. So he wanted to brag and was on the phone with her there. And I recorded the entire frickin' call. Mike Lang. And I have all the emails from Ziad Zion. Mike Lang. Harvey Weinstein's boss. They are finished. That's why we're making all these announcements. Bob Iger got fired again. So,
Again?
Again. He's leaving.
Like recently?
Bob Iger. Yeah. I'm told that there's a top exec with him that he's going next, but the top exec was there from 2010 when they first came to me to railroad this case. He's been there since 2010. He just got fired. Just out. And so they're falling apart.
Susie had an intercession with a Mike Langley, and I want to explain to you the difference, Susie. So Mike Lang.
Mike Lang.
No, I'm going to explain.
Okay.
I know. Yes,
hang
I'm
on.
going to explain to you who Mike Lang is. All right. Mike.
One second, Penny. Okay, I have to keep muting Susie because when we talk, it echoes back into her phone.
Okay.
So I'm going to mute her. So when she needs to speak, she's going to have to get her attention. And when you speak to her and want her to answer something, give me a minute just to take her off mute.
Okay.
We're going to fix that Sunday. By God.
Okay, so Mike Lang was the chief executive officer of Miramax Films who resigned March 16th, 2012, which March 16th is Joseph Mengele's birthday. He was born March 16th, 1911.
And you know what else about that date, real quick?
What?
That's when I said I'm going to the judge because they're not serving the defendants and have thrown the deadlines in my case. And they freaked out, and Mike Lang left along with Joel Silver. They both left at the same time. They resigned.
Now,
so that's
Susie had an intercession she's going to tell you about with Michael Laney. Susie?
Go ahead.
Michael Laney was the vice president of Walt Disney in Orlando. I don't know if you know who he is. Do you know who he is?
Mike Lang is Miramax Films. Mike Lang, I don't know him.
Okay. He was the vice president of Walt Disney, and then we were at a hotel in Orlando, and he wanted to hire my husband at the time to murder a girl because he was in love with her boyfriend. So he was going to give him $10,000, and so we were going to hide the girl in our room and then get the $10,000 and give it to the girl so that she could get away. And this was back in 1979. Okay. And so she ended up, we go to the room to get the money, and then this big henchman comes by and says, they're hiding, she's not, they didn't kill the girl, she's in the room. And then he went for his gun and he was going to shoot us, and we took off running and run around the building, and then we hid between a car. And then he kind of stood there with his gun for a minute and went back to his room. And then we told the girl, you almost got us killed. We're trying to save your life, get you some money, and you almost got us killed. So, you got to get out of here. We left. And I think about 5 or 6 years ago, his name is Michael Laney. He got convicted of raping a 7-year-old, and he's in prison now. Mm-hmm. So, this was back in 79. So there's no telling what kind of stuff was going on with this. But he was involved in making a lot of movies for Walt Disney and adding a lot of really bad stuff in it. So, I didn't know if he was actually involved with you and
I don't know.
Taking advantage of.
Yeah, so there's two Mikes. So Michael Laney was former Walt Disney VP, sentenced to 6 years in prison. This was posted on June 18, 2019 former vice president of Walt Disney Pictures and Television, Michael Laney, that's Laney, 73, has been sentenced to more than 6 years in prison following a child sex abuse investigation. The Multnomah County District Attorney's Office said Laney was sentenced on Friday to 81 months in prison after being found guilty for 4 counts of first-degree sexual abuse on May 7. In addition to Laney's prison sentence, the former VP also has to register as a sex offender. I sent this to you on your messenger. According to WTKR, the evidence presented during Laney's trial showed that in March of 2018, a young girl disclosed she had been sexually abused by Laney. Reportedly, the disclosure was first reported to law enforcement in Washington State, where the victim lived at the time. The attorney's office said the Portland Police Bureau assumed the investigation after it was determined that the abuse had occurred in Portland beginning in approximately 2009. At the time, so that was 10 years before, a decade before. At the time, the victim was about 7 years of age. WTKR reports that the court found sufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Laney was guilty of repeated sexual abuse involving the girl. So this was in 2000. It said that he sexually abused her when she was a minor in 2007 when she lived in Portland. The court found that there was not sufficient evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Laney was guilty of the investigation. But apparently they found that he was, and there was. It also said, in response to the request, Multnomah County Deputy District Attorney Charles Mickley called the claims particularly offensive and insulting. Mickley continued, the defendant wholly ignores the compelling evidence of his guilt presented at trial, including evidence of his long-standing sexual interest in children. So now both of you have had I worked for Disney.
Right.
For many years. I worked on Tomorrowland Stage. I worked in the Cactus Lounge. I worked every year since like the 80s with I did like Christmas parties, and then when I was with John, I worked with my band Stinger for New Year's Eve. But I'd worked there for, on and off since I moved into California. I worked for Disney and did their events and their parties, not knowing, anything about what Disney was all about.
That's what the thing is. Disney and religious right are connected with their sex rings. And if you want to access children and have the trust of the parents while you're doing it, Disney and religion are one of the biggest ways, and it's almost a stereotype to have youth leaders involved in these sex crimes. My brother is one, and he is always doing these things. So it's like that's your easiest way to disarm parents and get access to children and have your way with them, is be part of Disney or be part of the religious right.
Right. And I grew up out there, and I had season passes to Disney. I was there all the time when they had the Videopolis and all that. So I was always told by my family when I went with my cousins, my brothers. We were never to separate.
Right.
We were to always stay together.
Right.
If one went to the bathroom, everybody went to the bathroom. It's like they kind of knew. But I've been there, and I've heard people walk around just looking for their kids. And it's like, how do you let your kids just wander off like this?
Right.
But my thing to you is, I think God, Tom, had better plans for you. And I'm going to tell you why. Because knowing what we know about those people and all those people that were involved, it's probably a good thing that you kind of strayed from it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think you're so right about it, Brenda. And my Achilles heel, my weakness is, and they know how to play it. I think Penny knows my weakness. The way they can play me is let me be the white knight. Have a woman in distress come my way, and I try to save her. Next thing, I'm roped into a honeypot wife. And it works every time. I just don't know how to break that pattern. But now we do. Now I have like Penny and others that will be able to spot these guys. So I'm not going to fall for it again, any more honeypot wives. So on my own.
It's called a big caring heart. That's what it is.
Yes, but they literally send you honeypots. The last person that sex trafficked me out of the crazy house before I went in there, because he warned me. I forgot to tell you this, Tom. He warned me. He said, do you want to end up, he took me to a place on the base in Illinois and said, do you want to end up like this? Because I was speaking. And I said, no, I don't want to end up in a crazy house, but I did. And he also knew my blood type. And he said, the way that he met me was he met me outside of a Walmart, and he said he was doing a fundraiser. He told me the fundraiser is actually for the CIA. I said, did you step down from your position as commander of the DAV because you knew that I was coming? And he said, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting how even like they call him Spielberg, what he put in Minority Report. I wonder if you're in there too, Penny, because they just blatantly put in about it's about pre-crime.
Yes.
Spielberg doing pre-crime in the film about pre-crime, where Tom Cruise always plays the characters that are involved in my situation where things are being revealed. Always, he's always there with Scientology, and it's like. What's interesting is the pre-crime done by Spielberg in the graphic is inexcusable. And he's setting it up in 2002 for my son to be murdered and me to be put away as soon as the case is thrown in 2018. So you look at that graphic and you're just like, from Minority Report, and you're like, why? Just like that rap sheet, this time it's a newspaper. And on the newspaper, you'll see Captain John Anderton. Well, my dad's rank in the Navy was captain. His name is John, just as they're repeating the rap sheet from Matrix, right? Anderton. And Philip K. Dick did not want his work altered at all, right? He said that before he died. But Mike Lang's plan from Disney was to wait till the authors are dead and then do whatever you want. Claim through your courts that you control ownership of the pieces. Say that they wanted you to have it. And then you say things like this, well, I think he'd be happy with what we did with it. They actually do that. And so for Philip K. Dick, he didn't want anything altered. So what they do, they put Captain John Anderton. That's not the rank and name of the character. And also, there's no storyline about a son being murdered that Tom Cruise's character is going to be put in stasis because he's going to react to his son being murdered. Philip K. Dick's novel, Minority Report, has no son being murdered. There's no son named Sean. My son's name is Sean. Spielberg's doing a thing with the graphics saying Captain John Anderton will be put away in stasis, played by Tom Cruise, because his son Sean will be murdered. Nothing to do with Philip K. Dick's novel. But it's real life. So he commits pre-crime, and then when my son is murdered, Sean's murdered, I'm hauled off to be put away for life. Saying, obviously, I would be distressed and probably commit a crime. What? No, I'm not.
They wanted me to die in there.
Yeah, they did. So I would like to know about Minority Report with you, Penny, to see if anything's in there with you in there. But they play God, right? They play God. They want to be able to say, well, we brought you guys together. We're the ones that saw. Yeah, go ahead.
Susie has a question.
Oh, sorry, Susie. Go ahead.
Okay. So I have a question. I think it was around, I'm not really exactly sure, but I think somewhere between 212, 214, when the Bible switched from the word womb to now the word matrix is in there 5 times. And I never saw that word matrix until I watched your screenplay that you wrote. Now, I know you called it The Immortals, but they changed the name to Matrix. So that kind of freaked me out to see the word. It says all that enter the matrix is mine. Okay. And so there's like, and it's in the Old Testament, right? And it changed from womb to matrix. Now, the other word that popped in there that freaked me out was oracle. I'd never seen oracle in the Bible until I saw it in the Matrix. So I'm like, what the heck is going on with this movie, The Matrix, and the oracle and the Bible? And so, it's so like for the fact that you wrote this script, okay, and now it's like changing in the Bible the timeline or something is really freaky. Okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Any
right.
thoughts on that?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up, Susie. What you see is a hijacking of timelines. You said it. It's what they're doing is they're taking a natural timeline with visionaries and creative geniuses, many of us, right? And they know who we all are. And so they're going to make, it's like this weird storyline where they go like this. They're going to take Penny, who's like a natural executive, and make her a janitor. They're going to take me, who's going to excel at everything he does in the field of entertainment and has all these awards, and make me a dishwasher. Or working at McDonald's, they want me to do that. So they're hijacking timelines and changing it, and that way they feel like gods. They feel like they are. So the timeline we're in right now is hijacked. It is not the proper timeline. If we get credit back for our work, we will invert it again. It's like that. What was that movie with the one guy changes places, and the African American guy takes his place as a successful executive, and he becomes just a nobody. Then he switches. I know that. Yeah, right. He gets
changing places.
What's that? Yeah. So that's what they're doing, right?
With Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, and then what they do is they tell you, they've told me, yes, your sons were murdered. Your last son's alive because we know you're concerned for his safety, so you won't talk. That's on tape. How stupid are they? Right? Yeah. It's on tape. I recorded their call from their Disney attorney. How stupid are you? But I play naive and dumb with them. What? Oh my gosh. Really? Well,
sorry, it's called Trading Places.
And then at the same time, I'm like, while I'm playing dumb, I'm recording them. They want to believe you're going to be naive. And so you play along that game, their chess game that way, everything will come out. Yeah, just make sure you record it. That's how stupid they are. Now they're resigning like crazy. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Did I do it right? Or did I miss
yeah, it's really can you hear me now? Okay. Yes. Can you hear me? Okay. So what's interesting about that timeline thing, Penny and I went to go see this movie, Dumbo. Mm-hmm. And during the scene, in one of the scenes, I said to Penny, we saw this movie before. We were in the theater a year ago. We all sat here and watched it. I remember. And she says, I don't remember this movie. I don't remember seeing this movie. And I said, yes, I can tell you the scenes and everything. I remember this movie. And then at the end of the movie, Penny goes, did we see this movie before? And I'm like, yes, Penny, a year ago. I said, I know right now I can count at least 11 timelines just since about 2012 that I know that we have jumped into, because everything keeps changing, and I went to see the Transformers with my son, and that was really weird because I told him, I said, I already saw this movie. He goes, no, Mom, they never made this movie. I go, oh, yeah, they did. I can tell you right now what Bumblebee does. He goes in the house, he tears it up, makes a mess. He said, Mom, it's in the movie theater. That means they never made this movie. And I said, yeah, I saw it like probably 20 years ago when they made it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So how do I know the exact movie if they never made it? Right. So I remember other timelines, just like I remember how the Bible said things and now it says different things. So
that's so wild.
Yeah, it's all messed up.
Susie, that's so wild, because what I get a sensation of all the time, and I haven't shared this before. I never shared this before, I don't think. But I get glimpses of the natural timeline if the theft had never occurred. And it's amazing. I see myself at a white palatial place in Greece, this white, beautiful building. I've got the boat, and it's like I'm there. I can feel the breeze. I'm there. I get snippets of a life that would have been my life. If
Tom Hanks is there now.
Is that? Is he? So they're imitating the
Tom Hanks moved to Greece.
Oh my God. So what you're seeing is they know I can do this, and I'm experiencing it. And it's like, so let me tell you this. The timeline that was not hijacked the way it's supposed to be is amazing. It is a world that is amazing. There is not all this going on. We're in hell right now.
I wonder if that's what I see often. Mm-hmm. Like, you know how you're just sitting there, you see stuff moving out the side of your eye, and you turn your head and it's not there. Well, right. I've learned not to turn my head. And what I do is when I see this, I just kind of slowly glance over. I have seen green pastures, beautiful trees, just beautiful skies, and I will not turn my head because I know if I do, it will go away.
Well, that's the other part of it, Brenda, that I've been noticing too, is that when people cross my path, like Penny knows about somebody recently, when they cross your path, you have a relationship in the other timeline, and you have that sense together.
I've always
And so
wanted to
you're
go
like,
to Greece. Let's do it.
yeah, no, you do. You realize that you are important in the natural timeline together. Interactions. You may not know exactly what that is, but there's a knowing and a familiarity that gets you in trouble in the altered timeline, because it's not going to work in the altered timeline. Now, Man in the High Castle makes this very, very, very pronounced and clear. And Man in the High Castle is the one that Penny knows, where they put what my mom's birthday, my two sons that were killed, their birthdays, my birthday, my fiance at the time, her birthday, all on the rap sheet file, all there. All those birthdays are on the
Wow.
rap sheet on the characters. So you have 4 characters with 5 birthdays pertaining to me. And it's like they did that. Man in the High Castle was just all packed in there, all that stuff packed in there. But the timeline being altered, when I met this other person recently, I wasn't supposed to interact in this timeline with her. They would have been in the other timeline. In this one, not a good path. Not a good path.
Huh.
Isn't that
Well,
wild? Yeah. They will
I'll
behave
tell you.
differently. They behave differently in the altered timeline. Isn't that
Well,
wild?
here's something.
Yeah.
Something crazy. So last week, Penny had Brian come on the show. So I was thinking, because I'm really big on what's going on with these children.
Mm-hmm.
So I called Brian and I said, hey, let me ask you something. If I do one show a week on Rumble and Rumble only, because that's the only way we're going to be able to do this, I said, can you tell me what you know about child sex trafficking and SRA? Do you know stuff about it? He said, oh, yes, ma'am, I do. I said, would you be willing to do a show once a week with me and Susie,
Mm-hmm.
specifically on that? And I just want to start all the way back from the beginning.
Right.
We're only going to have an hour to do it. So let's start. When I was a kid, they used to put faces on milk cartons. They stopped doing that because people were seeing these children. And those milk cartons went all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't just here. So they had to stop that.
Right.
And then I want to just lead up to everything and make a few segments out of it. So I told Brian, Brian said, absolutely, I would be honored. He said, this feels so right. And I was like, right? So I met Penny. I met Susie. So maybe all of us together, it's what we're supposed to do.
I don't think it's any accident at all. It's interesting that the timelines, and they do this in Man in the High Castle also, the timelines do have the certain figures converge, but it may not be healthy for certain ones to converge in the altered timeline. But it would work for us to, many of us. Some of us, it'll work either timeline. Either timeline because of our hearts and who we are. And they say that about Juliana in the High Castle. That whatever timeline she's in, she'll be a good heart. She'll be consistent. And that's what they were pointing out to me, that would be. And what's interesting is they named Juliana, which is both my sisters' names together. See?
Go ahead, Susie.
You have a list of the assassination characters. The only person who's not assassinated on the list is Lemuel. That's my great-grandfather's name, Lemuel.
Oh, wow.
Lemuel.
What was that, Susie? Go ahead.
Okay, I have something. Okay, so I had this like dream, and in my dream I was kind of awake but kind of asleep dream, and the Holy Spirit said to me that she said the convergence had begun. And I said, not many will understand what that means.
Yeah.
And she said, that's okay, because sometimes ignorance is bliss. And so, you know,
that just hit me
I woke up from that, and I
thought, hit me so hard, Susie. That just hit me so hard with awareness. I was like, wow, keep going. Wow. I'm rarely blown away, but you just blew me backwards. Go ahead.
So when you have, I think Brian brought up in our show last time, he said there's like 67 timelines. So no matter what they do, when they go and they change these timelines, they still will converge back. So the convergence.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I was given.
So they can't stop the convergence.
That's right. That's what I was given, is make sure the evidence is clear, that get name credit back, and it will converge the timelines. See, if I get name credit for my work, I'm back on the timeline. for this, and it would be 70 years of peace that was promised instead of 70 years of
Wow.
turmoil. And
Makes
even
sense.
yeah. And I was supposed to run for office, and that's what Hollywood was even saying. So they're both timeline contingencies. Trump's camp and cabal are saying Roseanne Barr run for office in either timeline. It's really weird. It's just that just blew me away, though, Susie. That just blew me away. You're absolutely right. Oh my gosh, I'm like, wow, this is the most impactful.
I know. I'm sitting over here just every time I do something with you, I end up crying because it hits me very, very hard because I know they wanted me to die in the crazy house.
Yes, they did.
And there was a girl in there that hung herself, Tom, and her name was Susie.
Right.
And I was like, did they not want me to meet Susie?
Well, that's so wild is that, did I tell you what happened to me in Canada when they put me in the crazy house too?
Mm-mm.
Right? Spielberg's thing was enacted where they said, Sean is dead, so therefore we're going to haul you off, right? Sean was killed, they put me in the crazy house. Just as Spielberg said in Minority Report, which isn't in Phil K. Dick's novel. When I was in there, here's what they did. There's a guy named Quentin, right? He's a Batman stunt man for Warner Brothers. Now, when I was on Maui, he researched throughout Warner Brothers and found out it's common knowledge that, yeah, everybody knows they're not supposed to talk about you or Diane Bellis, the story department, but the person that letter was sent to by Bonaventura through submitting my work that I have a copy of, tracking number, receipt. No one was supposed to censor our name, and he said it was common knowledge. Everybody knew your work was stolen from you by the Wachowskis. So what's the chances that his girlfriend is on Maui helping me contact Quentin, the stuntman Batman, to work it out back then? And that's 2014. What's the chances of 4 years later being in Canada, Brantford, Canada, and Sean is murdered after a hit and run attempt by Joel Silver on me fails. They killed Sean the next day. And so what happens is I'm put in the crazy house. I didn't do anything wrong. Just put me away. Poor Aiden witnessed this after having a talk with Sean on the phone, my son, who's now 17. When I'm in the house there, or the crazy place, what they did was I had no treatment, nothing. They simply put me away with a doctor that just said, you think you wrote The Matrix. That's my crime? What is this? So if I have this, it doesn't mean anything? That's the Copyright Office seal, certified, everything bound. Still going to put me away, claiming, they even say, you still think you wrote it? Yeah, I think I wrote it. And so what happens is they put me away, and this girl comes up. They put Pulp Fiction on the video system on the TV in the lobby, right, the main lobby area. And I was just talking about Pulp Fiction, how I hate the needle scene in the chest on the poor young lady and the character. So they put it on. They put it on in the lobby. So Pulp Fiction is playing in the lobby really loud. I'm like, wait a minute, I just talked about that scene. I go out, there's a girl seated there. Guess who she is? The latest girlfriend of Quentin from Warner Brothers, the Batman stuntman. He's telling me, yeah, Quentin's my boyfriend.
Where did he go?
Well, he is right
There
here.
I am. They didn't like that. See, they didn't like that.
Did you switch him around?
No,
I didn't touch
it.
anything. I didn't touch anything. They don't like that. See, what they're showing you is they don't like that. This happens all the time. We'll be cut. We'll be shut. No, people.
Yeah. Now Susie's in the box.
Yeah. So they didn't
Again with the zero.
but definitely pay attention to that. They didn't like us talking about that topic. Whenever they do that, pay attention to the topic we just talked about. What didn't they like?
Yep.
What didn't they like? That Quentin is a stuntman, Batman, who did the research throughout Warner Brothers, and they actually put a next girlfriend in Canada to talk to me, to tell me about Quentin at Warner Brothers. So they don't want you thinking about that's how far they go, right? And I can give you example after example how far they go. There's a guy named David Johnson on Maui who's part of that pedophile kingdom of the theater groups. Remember I said they do theater and things like that if they want to access to children? Well, he specializes in young underage dancers, girl dancers, at Maui Academy of Performing Arts. And he got very angry at me because I was saying, pointing out some of the pedophile activities that I caught and said, this isn't right. And instead of firing the guys, he promoted them and got rid of me. So what happened was Warner Brothers rewarded him. And listen to what they did. His daughter's name is Annika Johnson. Now, is that a usual name? Have you
Very.
Annika Johnson, right? So what they do, Joel Silver from Warner Brothers, what do you do? Bates Motel, if you look it up, Bates Motel is under Joel Silver from Warner Brothers, right? And he puts a character in to honor David Johnson, the pedophile king, named Annika Johnson, his daughter's name. And guess
Wow.
you know what the character plays? Look it up. The character plays a prostitute. She's brought in for the season as a main character for that period after David Johnson pulled the rug on me and promoted the pedophile. Was working with the kids, sleeping with underage girls. Amazing. So the reward system was put your daughter's name as a lead character as a prostitute. Do you think that's not bolstering the idea of the sex ring? That's a young daughter who's like 12 years old. So he's honored to have Warner Brothers do that. But what is the message? What's the message? Right? Sex ring. Isn't that something? Look at the layers to that. And if you look up Bates Motel, look for the Annika Johnson, look for the season. And if you look up Maui Academy of Performing Arts with David Johnson, look up his daughter, Annika Johnson. How about that? They do this because they have to be careful about the names they choose, so they have fun with it instead. Reward and chastise. And that's what they do. They also announce hits, like Penny was saying. They'll put your name in a certain situation. Like, was it the X-Files, Penny, where the person's killed with a snowplow? Is that what you said?
I think so. I have to look it up.
They killed my son on the Ides of March. They chose that date after Joel Silver's hit and run didn't kill me in Canada. And we had been on the phone, Aiden and I, my last surviving son was with Sean. And he's like, I'm proud of you, Dad. You know, we'll make the film. If anything happens, be safe on the highways. Next day he's killed on the highway. Next day he's killed by a snowplow.
Susie.
Yeah. So anyway, it's supposed to break us. The thing is that if we are creators and visionaries and we care, we have a place of caring, we're not going to waste this. We're going to do it in the memory of our loved ones we lost. We're going to see it through and help humanity. They misjudged us because they're going from their core. Their core is greed, take, succeed, success. They're always saying about power. And on the one tape with the Disney exec, it's saying it's all about, all they understand is power, right? I said, what about compassion and power? They don't understand compassion. Compassion is way more powerful than just power, right? And corruption, money, power and money can corrupt absolutely unless you have compassion anchored in your soul, at your center. If you have compassion, you won't be corrupted.
It was in the X-Files movie.
There you go. So that's why Sean was killed by the snowplow. And my other son, the way he was murdered is the Masons' murder. It was a Mason's message.
Go ahead, Susie.
Message. Yeah.
And they follow her, and then they push her off the road.
I can't hear you.
Hang on. I have Susie unmuted. That's why she wanted to ask something.
Oh, go ahead. Right.
Go ahead, Susie.
Okay, I had a little bit of a different direction, and it was about the religion part of it. Some of the revivals that I went to was Todd Bentley, IHOP, International House of Prayer, and Todd Bentley was the leading. He was under Rick Joyner and all those big time names, the big church names, and he was sleeping with all the young boys in there, and then he got separated from his wife during the revival in Lakeland, and then he got with this other girl, and he was going up there and he was kicking people in the name of God for healing and stuff like that, and all these big name people, they're all exploiting people sexually. They're all just like you said, and so it's like it's all tied in with the money, and they're using God, and they're manipulating, and they're taking advantage of the people, and I know you have your own stories too about Pat Robertson, because he came to Austin, and I remember I went to the Capitol in Austin to see him speak to become president and everything. And I remember that. I had no idea that he was one of them too. He was in that little, pedophile, homosexual group, but they seem like when they're at the top and they're in the big like that, they're just as corrupt as the movie people.
The way they do it is like the Victorian period mentality, where if you are successful, as Robertson said, then you are an untouchable. You're above the masses and therefore are not to be touched. And they use that phrase, "you're not to be touched." And so when they approached me, the Religious Right, IBM, CIA, they wanted me to be working for the intelligence agency. Their Air Force was recruiting me to be an officer. And they all say the same thing: you're one of the elite now. Your life is over as you know it, which means you have carte blanche protection. Like John Walsh gave me that card from the FBI that said, please extend the courtesy to Tom Althouse, which I have. And that was when I did America's Most Wanted. So that card is a get out of jail free card. You can't be touched. If you go before a judge,
Wow.
When you're struck from the program, like my character was in the Matrix story, The Immortals, then you're fair game. They can do anything you want to. It's like ancient Rome, where they said, if you're able to do them harm, do them harm. When you're announced in the forum that you are no longer going to be, you're an enemy of the state. So it really feeds the needs of the insecure in the cabal that want to feel power over others. It's your fair game. That's why Hunger Games comes from the Immortals, and in it, the short people outside the program are told that their kids could merit the program. They could become part of the Immortal program if they fight in these gladiatorial games. So Hunger Games, that's where Hunger Games comes from, right from the Immortals. From this right here is Hunger Games. Now, what's interesting is when I was in California, they match you up with, like, Penny, you know this, they match you up with people like they're casting a show, right? Honey Pot Wives, things like that. I was told not that long ago that the woman they had in mind for me, whether she knows it or not, is the lead girl from the Hunger Games. Now, is that a coincidence? No. So if I was to be brought in as a script doctor, where I would never be known for my work, but I would be one of the richest guys there, I would also be a public figure, and they would have the wife who's really beautiful with me that was established. It was going to be the Hunger Games girl. And so, which is interesting because they tie it into your history, where I wrote the Hunger Games and the Immortals. And of course, the system isn't a merit-based. That's why the train station scene is so important, where the Wachowski said it, the little girl's just a subplot. In mine, the train station scene is about child trafficking, where the people outside the program, their last hope is to push their kids into the program where they'll be exploited and they'll never see them again. So I want the film made as is so the messages can still reach. And I love what you said about the convergence of the timelines, that you can finally get the message across. A whole generation has come and gone that will never really know the true story. And what the Wachowskis handed you was gobbledygook. It was just images they lifted, they thought were cool on a visual storyboard, and pieced it together as they shot the film. The actors were told to improvise, and that's why they sound like they're mumbling. Now, Smith Agent goes like this: "You're an insect. We have been following you." Now, why is he talking so slow and deep? Because he doesn't have a script. And what does Morpheus do? You take the blue pill and you return to... That's actor's nightmare, we call it. They don't have a script. They're told to improvise, throw this in, it'll be cool. And the actors aren't used to that procedure often. So that if you watch The Matrix knowing that, watch how they're speaking. Neo, Keanu Reeves looks like this a lot of time as Neo. Because he doesn't have his lines. And he doesn't have the brain to handle it. So you're going to have a non-speaking main character, and people might go, "Oh, that's cool," but then you realize what's really going on. They're working on the stolen script. So they're not able to actually read the script. They have to make it up as they go along. And they're told things like this behind the scenes. Before you shoot, they're told this. Now, think of it being an actor, and it's what you're told. Like Brenda, you're told this. "Okay, Brenda, I want you to say this phrase in here, that the Tao is the important moment, and then make up the rest. Okay, cameras roll. Brenda, you're on." Yeah, it's going to be like,
Oh, I was muted.
yeah. So so now that you know that, when you watch The Matrix, see if anybody's talking fast, and see if a lot of people have a lot of silent moments. Because inside their head, if you watch them, if they're good actors, maybe they won't be showing it. But here's what they really look like. Sweat pouring down. Yeah.
They're like, throw me a bone over here. What am I doing?
Yeah. You know that, here's a fun one for you real quick. I don't mean to hijack your show, but Agent Smith, right? If you look at the description of Agent Smith in the original work right here, it says that he's meticulously groomed and moves with a calculated grace. Now, think of Hugo reading this. And what an actor does is they try to flesh out a first choice for the directors, right? So he was given that description from this original work on set, and taking that, moves with a meticulously groomed, moves with a calculated grace. So Hugo has some fun with it at first, or tries to get something. You try to go a little bigger, and then the director's supposed to pull you back and give you the layers, right? So you can imagine Hugo going like this: I'm going to come and destroy every human being. I'm talking meticulously, and I'm talking like I'm a robot. And the Wachowskis, the idiot small brains they are, going, keep it, keep that. That's the worst thing you can say to an actor, because that's your first choice. I haven't fleshed it out. I haven't had the layers to my character. You're telling me to keep that? That's like being a clown. I haven't. And so now it becomes that iconic sound and delivery where the actor was told to keep his first choice off the description from the Immortals. Isn't that something?
Wow.
Yeah. Once you know what's really going on from the original work that's copyrighted, you then can put it together. How fun is it going to be to actually watch the real life movie, director's cut, and know exactly what went on? And you'll be able to watch Matrix and see there's actors that are making it up as they go along. Now we get it. This is why the train station scene doesn't make sense, because they took the liquid mirrors out. In the train station scene, it's not Neo running down a subway like an Escher print and running back and going, wait, I just ran down the subway and somehow I came back. Isn't that cool? No, it's not. It's stupid. What's supposed to happen is the liquid mirrors are the security devices. If you're in the program, you can pass through the liquid mirrors. It's not, but they lifted it out of sequence and made it so that Morpheus has the red pill, blue pill, and it's like Neo puts his hand through the mirror. Oh, that's cool. It doesn't further the story. It doesn't make anything exciting or make it in depth. It doesn't connect the element. If you put it back at the train station, the liquid mirrors, that's kind of cool. Liquid mirrors that if you're in the program and taking the red pill, you can pass through them. Otherwise, you'll be cut in half. Okay, now we got something cool. But the Wachowskis, lo and behold, took it and simplified it. Made it dumb. There's another one real quick if you are into this.
Oh, go ahead.
Where you're not allowed to disconnect from the enhancer. If you do, you're terminated immediately, right? In mine, the enhancer is taken out, like in Elysium, when they ripped it off. And the memories of Smith are downloaded, and Neo loses his enhancer and all his memories. And so he uses the Smith memories and has 3 days to learn how to handle it with all the emotions and everything, feeling what Smith felt. Now, what they did, the Wachowskis thought that was cool. So what they did was they had a Morpheus being beat up really bad by Smith, right? And they have him disconnect. Now, they don't explain to audiences why that's so important. But if in the original script, the Wachowskis knew in the original script, if you disconnect, you're dead. You're terminated as an agent. But in mine, they don't terminate Smith because he's a lead agent, right? But here's the Wachowskis making it into a beat-up fest, which is just violence that they are into. And Smith disconnects his earpiece. What happens to show us that you're not supposed to do that, and you could be killed for doing it, but they're not going to kill Smith because he's lead agent? Are you ready? How do they handle that to make it shown, since the Wachowskis know that's in the original work? They have 3 agents come to the door after he disconnects, and one goes like this. What did you do to my script? You took possible termination of the agent for disconnecting, which he just did, into this? No, no, no. How stupid can you be? How the worst pick in the world would be the Wachowskis. They failed at everything. They failed at their painting contract. They flunked out of school. Their mom said all they did was do video games. They're the worst candidates to do The Matrix. And they proved it. Do you know they tried to write Matrix 2 and they couldn't finish it So they used my screenplay for Matrix 2 and 3 all the way. Do you know that on set, everyone said to blow up the Matrix at the end when they were making it up as they go along. Instead, they kept my exact sequence of ending with the little girl at the train station, the identical figures facing into their crater goes the one, pulse wave comes out, even keeping the hands bleeding when the one looks up. They kept that. The pulse wave goes out, greens the earth, greens the city back to green again, passes over the little girl, she's renewed to life, comes up, hugs the person, and points the sun. They kept my exact ending. They kept my exact ending when they said they're going to try it. When everyone else said blow it up, because when it was made up and everything lifted, it wouldn't tie together. So my exact ending made no sense with everything lifted out of context, including red pill, blue pill. And one more thing, the red pill, blue pill, what do you think's the good pill in the original work? The red one or the blue one? What's the good pill?
Probably the blue one.
Yes. Yes. The red pill is based on the blood of the children in the original work. And here's the deal. It isn't this. It isn't Morpheus going, you must choose between the red or the blue pill. No. In the original work, Smith tells, in the interrogation scene, Smith tells Neo he has to take the red pill. You have to enter the program. Like how they approached me many times, I'm just putting it into art, whispering through art. They offer you one choice. If you don't take that choice, you and your family will die. So in the original work, Neo is offered only the red pill by Smith. He's then cut from the program later. He goes to the underground, and Morpheus has a solution, a bootleg blue pill that allows him to enter the program again and take on Smith. Make sense? It's not this. Yeah. It's not Eat Me, Drink Me from Alice in Wonderland, which they got really drunk on. It is red pill only. Choose it or you and your family will die. Neo, now you're part of the program. Oh, we're going to cut you from the program. Architect picks a point to cut so he gets to underground. Morpheus offers the blue pill, not based on the blood of the children. It's not perfect. It has a lot of painful side effects, but you got to pay that price to go back into and take on Smith and free humanity. Also, you have to wear these memories of Smith to access the Cortex building and the dome. Sound familiar? The Cortex building, the dome in the original work. It's right in here. It's right in here. They even kept the dome. So you take the blue pill to go back in to address it, and you have to use the memories of Smith to go after to change what the architect's doing. Isn't that something? So you lose your own memories. I'll tell you, this is a good story. I worked hard on it. It was perfected. It even has a fake Oval Office, and they did that. They did that in real life. So anyway, stay tuned because wait to see the original.
Susan has a question.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm sounding like I'm ranting, but
okay.
I am not happy.
No, you're good
with my work, but go ahead.
Right, it makes sense. Now, I had another question. In the Matrix movie, they emphasize Zionism, or is the Zionist, that that's who you want to be, and that's going to be the winning party, and that's who you need to join. And look what's going on in the world today with the Nazis and the Zionism. You know, it's like as if they took this movie and said, we're going to win. We are them. We're the bad guys. And so in that movie, they're trying to say that they're the winners, right?
You're right. And you just hit something so important, Susie. Guess who Neo works for in the beginning before he joins the program? What is his job? Do you know that? What his job is? Neo's job in the original work right here, the original work, he works for the CIA. Before he's in the program, he works for the CIA. And guess who Smith works for? Smith is a top agent, top head of a department in the CIA. Do you think they wanted that to be in here? Can you imagine the Matrix the way it's supposed to be with Agent Smith as the head of CIA, and then he becomes central of the One World Order. Central becomes the governing or the policing agent of the One World Order. And so what you have is me whispering through art, the Central Intelligence Agency is bad, and it was going to become a blockbuster, and the CIA weren't going to have that. They weren't going to have that. So they teamed with Disney to make sure it was ripped off completely with Warner Bros. And Disney, and it was just right. So what you have is my character modeled after myself, Thomas A. Anderson, actually is recruited as I was in real life for the CIA, Camp Perry, all right, Air Force Intelligence Program. And I'm writing about my own experience. And so what happens is I decide no to my grooming, that I'm going to try to, if we're going to make a one world order, which I'm well aware of at the time, I'm going to see if we can make it a good one. If we have no choice, they're going to make a one world order. Let's make it where it's friendly for the masses. And they did not want that. They knew that's what I wanted. They knew that's where I'm coming from. And you know what they accused me of? They said I was too nice, too caring. When CIA operatives Lauren Holmberg and Paul from Maui and the Masons came to me and recruited me for the Masons, one of the first things they told me was, we're really fascinated by your story. We don't, just your life and your story. And just you're one of the elite now. Again, the phrase, you're one of the elite. That's what they call themselves. And they said, just don't try to make a difference. What? So you're telling me not to be my core, right? Not to be who I am in my dreams and everything. You're telling me that I'm going to have the best of the land, to have the best life, be the elite, one of the 1%, but don't try to make a difference for the masses. Now, put that in perspective. What does that mean with everybody that's in the cabal? What does that mean that everybody's been recruited or bought off or sold off? You know what the caveat or the requirement is? Not to care. Put all your feelings in the freezer, they say, right? And not care about humanity. So you have an entire elite population that doesn't give a damn about anyone who's innocent.
Nope. Not a soul. Not any one of us.
No,
I don't even think they care about their own family.
And they've got the cards to get away with anything they want, just like John Walsh gave me from the Sheriff's Department. Get away with anything you want. You won't be tagged. And that power gets into their minds, and they spiral into this power trip where they're not going to be redeemable again, basically. It's going to be a real long haul to pull them out of that pit once they have that taste of that kind of power. That's what the real holding card or place card is, to hold them in place. Is like what happened to my sister. She's just drunk on power and success now. Even said, I'm not a peacemaker anymore, Tom. I'm all about power and success now, because she got a taste of it. And that's what you have to be careful of. Once you take that drink, it's over. It's over.
I said.
Yeah.
I think God had a better plan for you, because your heart.
I agree. I would have self-destructed, Brenda. I would have self-destructed. If I would not have been able to sleep. It would have haunted me. If I had been any part of it, especially with children, I would have taken my life.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked with me. I couldn't exist in that world. They don't understand that. They think that's weak. I think that's true power. Is that you cannot be a part of it. It means you're insulated from it. You can't be puppeted. You can't be stringed. You can't be anything. You will remain good-hearted. And I'm looking for, like in the original work, The Immortals, it talks about the remnant. That's why they call it Trinity, remnant. A remnant of great people coming together to solve the world's problems from cross disciplines with good hearts. We can turn this world again for 70 years of peace easily when the right people are in charge. The real visionaries, the truth, the people that actually care and aren't about what's the handout for me, what's in it for me. I hate that phrase. The elite always says, what's in it for me in all their transactions. I don't like that phrase. What's in it for us? Brilliant lives, and for our children. If you get satisfaction in seeing a child smiling, happy, free, loving life, that should feed you beyond any paycheck, any amount of gold. If that feeds you and floats your boat, then welcome to the real world. It's going to be.
That's right.
That's the treasure we should be looking for. And they call me crybaby, all this stuff all the time. And it's like, because you're not supposed to show feelings. I'm glad I can feel, and I'm telling others, don't ever lose your ability to, especially if you're a guy, don't lose your ability to shed tears. Don't lose your ability to feel. Don't ever lose that gift. Feel it all the way. Feel every moment and facet of life. Feel it. Don't lose that. Don't let them take it away from you. And that's a requirement of the cabal and the elite, not to feel.
Okay, Tom.
Yeah.
So here it is. You're going to have to go ahead and get that house in Greece and that boat, because I think me, Penny, and Susie are all going to go feel with you.
I would love that. But Penny knows too. Penny knows I need a team, because it's really wild. I can't change who I am. Like none of us can really change our core, right? And we experience, like I said, in dreams, we experience our core. We can't lie to ourselves in a dream. In our dream, the way we behave is a mirror to who we really are. Our core shows in our dreams. We can't alter that. And so if we're really kind, it'll show up in our dreams, acting kind in our dreams. And what's interesting is that I cannot change that with my interactions with other fellow human beings. And so when it comes to relationships, I don't stand a chance unless it's the person's really a good person, and that is vetted. And so that's why I need Penny and others to actually be my eyes, because I'll believe any sob story I hear, but that's part of being a good guy. It's like part of being a good guy. I don't want to change that. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to become suspicious of people. I want to keep that innocence And if it's naivety, I want to keep that too. I like it because it feels fine to be trusting. I don't lose my ability to trust.
That's it, Penny, Susie. We're on Tom sitting time.
I knew that. So
Susie, was there anything else that you wanted to bring up with Tom?
I just had some thoughts, because I studied Michael Aquino, who was the head of the Church of Set, and he kind of was in the Cheyenne. He was in the Cheyenne Mountain. He was part of the time travel, and he worked with John Brennan, head of the CIA, and they worked with all these super soldiers, and they went back in time and they manipulated things and they changed things, but he was murdered back in 219. Basically as Satan was murdered, like in the Bible where it says, Lucifer, you're just a man, you're going to be cut down to the ground. You were corrupted by your evil trading and all that,
Mhm.
So I'm thinking that these very high level evil people who went back and manipulated these timelines, they're not in control anymore,
Mhm.
so these timelines are going to converge back, and things are, I think that we just got to keep fighting that good fight, because there was a movie that they filmed on my ranch when I lived in Bastrop, and it was called Innocent Killers, and it was about Satan knows that his time is short, so he tries to create a time loop so that time just keeps looping around and around and around, so that he doesn't ever, because he knows that his time is short, so that he knows what's coming, but he's trying to prevent it from coming by creating these time loops, but he can't, is the point. That's the point. They know that their time is running out. They can only manipulate. Go ahead.
See, well, I didn't mean to jump on you like that, but it's like the in the Immortals, the idea is that man and woman have defeated death, man and woman's greatest enemy, and therefore they feel no accountability anymore. They don't feel like they're ever going to die, so they'll never end up in any kind of purgatory and things. So they just feel like they can just do whatever they want and be fascinated by people outside the program and watching them die. That's why the Hunger Games is part of the thing. They all kind of tie together in layers. But what's interesting is if we get rid of our skepticism, if we can have a remnant gather that is actually good-hearted, what the other side tries to do is pit us against each other all the time. Like, Andy, I don't really know you yet, but it's great to meet you. And if I meet Andy for the first time, right, what they would want is for me to be suspicious of Andy and for Andy to be suspicious of me. They make that our first card, our first play. They want us to act like that, right? They don't want us to have the natural interaction, man to man, of like, it's nice to meet you, Andy, and I'm meeting you now, and I look forward to future endeavors or whatever is going to come our way. They don't want that. They want us to be pitted against each other like bucks on a prairie. And it's like they keep pushing this idea, divide and start out suspicious, right? But we can turn that around. And this idea that everybody's into power and that we're trying to elevate ourselves above each other. No. Many of us are actually trying to get a better world for the children, and our focus really tells who we are. What's our focus? And you said, Brenda, too. The kids, right?
Kids.
And a lot of people throw that around as a card that, they think will make them look good. But there are us here that actually do care about the kids. And if that is our core, I think we can trust each other.
I'll tell you, Tom.
Yeah.
I have seen pictures and video of what has happened to some of these kids. And see, I always wanted more, but I wasn't supposed to have the only one that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just makes me sick that people have children just to sell them off,
right,
to do this with, or don't pay attention and somebody snatches them out of the mall, or and I don't understand it. Children are one of God's greatest
That's
gifts.
brilliant. Yes, they are, and they've got a sense too, don't they, Brenda?
And yes, now you don't always get a playbook on how to raise them.
Right.
Okay. But you do okay. You go by your instincts. Everybody has those maternal instincts that kick in, whether it's mother or father. Always. But one of your biggest things in life when you have kids is to protect those kids, feed those kids, clothe those kids. Those are your kids, not anybody else's.
Right. You just raised something so important too, and I'd
Yeah.
like to hear Andy's thoughts too. Is that as a man, when a child, like even in a grocery store, if a child sees layers of feeling that are positive and kind and genuine in a gentleman, a man, it's amazing the way they react. It's amazing what they'll do. Like they'll pull away from their moms and stuff and come towards you. If a man is able to have genuine tears of compassion and feeling for even strangers, right? It reads. Kids have a sense of safe, protection, strong, and they'll respond to that. And the other side tries to imitate that in order to snare. But we need to be mindful that there are genuine men that actually care with deep feeling, and the children benefit from interacting with parents present, of course, like we do in acting. But it's like there's a benefit when they see true masculinity that actually is genuinely caring. I think children need to see that, and it's being ripped apart from our society, where all are becoming suspect. And do you have a thought on that, Andy, as a man?
I don't know.
No.
It's kind of like your nephews. How
Yeah.
when they go to your house, it's like Uncle Andy, Uncle Andy. You know,
Mhm.
They feel automatically just free to be around you and
Right.
to interact. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a gift.
That's after Brenda, after they go to the junk drawer.
right,
Right.
right.
But see, if I can convince Disney and others that is the treasure of treasures, to have a child's trust. And what better industry to enact that than entertainment and things like that? Why not actually care about the children, take away all that selfishness, and actually just try to have a child have brilliant moments and
Mhm.
learn and have moments where they can look back and they were able to trust.
Right. And
it was not spoiled. It was not taken advantage of. It was not anything but a beautiful experience. And we're robbed of the timeline. We're robbed of the way the world's supposed to be with a balance. There's all these studies on Neanderthals now, and they're finally getting it that they were actually very family oriented, and they're finding that that they did everything together basically, and that group of humanity, if you will, seem to really have it down, and they're gone. But we do have some of the DNA and traits, I say. But yeah.
So I hear that Roseanne wants to help you with the movie.
Yeah, she was really sweet.
Roseanne Barr, I love her.
Yeah, I was touched. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep,
And
and
what are
she's got
your
a great plan. She's got a great plan for governance too. And I just watched the thing about Andy, you look like you have the Viking ancestry too, I'll tell you. And I do too. Yeah, I love that. It's really fun to look at your roots, and any Germanic, Norway, Switzerland, all that stuff, Scandinavia. But they were saying that in a certain very fierce group of Vikings in Scandinavia, the women ruled. Now, in the Iroquois nation, Roseanne was pointing out to me that she likes that. She said something about Ben Franklin pointed this out too, that there was a council of grandmothers in the Iroquois nation, she said. And she said that was something she'd like to see returned to governance in this country. Well, why not? What better body for governing than a council of grandmothers? I'm like, woohoo! Yeah, that sounds good to me. And
you have to make sure that they're in the right mind, though.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
End up with what we already have now.
Yeah. But I always looked at the Minoan Empire.
Yeah, no Biden grandmas.
Yeah. I joke with guys often. I'd say, like, just think how easy life would be if the women ruled. You know, let the women rule. That's fine with me. It's like, I don't know where that got inverted, but it just makes sense that if throughout history, if the woman is at the camps and like taking care of everything, and or they would become administrators while the men are kind of going out and doing the thing they need to do.
But you know, we do it basically the same thing now. You know, we work, we come home, we cook, we clean, we take care of the kids, we, you know, and I don't know about you, but most relationships that I've ever been in, it's always, hey, I think we need to go pay this, you know, should we do that? And it's always a discussion.
I love
So in
that.
a way,
That's
yes,
good.
we kind of do.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing
But
too.
put us in government, I'm all for it.
Yeah, the whole thing, like when I wrote the screenplay too, the idea was that I was trying to encourage us to get away from a 40-hour work week. We don't need to. And why do we have to create jobs for jobs' sake? There's not enough jobs to go around. Well, you're going to be like getting to a point where it's going to be like, okay, I got a job, Penny. I'm going to be able to dig a hole and cover it up, and dig a hole, cover it up, and I'll be working 8 hours a day getting paid for digging holes and covering them up. I have a job. It doesn't make any sense. You know, we might as well build anthills. Why not do, and that's what I'm going to do with my company in the future, work 2 hours of quality time, and the rest is family and friends. Give me 2 hours of quality time, I'll pay you for that, and you'll be set, and then just be happy, relaxed, enjoy yourselves, and come back to work the next day for 2 hours.
Yeah, why not actually work with family and friends, or make your friends your family?
Instead of pretending you're working by the coffee machine.
And
Yeah.
Susie,
try to push luck.
what were you going to say, Susie?
Oh, it's funny you said that about the grandmothers and the women and the Iroquois, because my 10th grandmother was Pocahontas, who was Iroquois Indian.
Wow.
And she was in line to rule over like 10 other tribes, but instead she ends up marrying John Rolfe, or Ralph, or what is it? Rolfe, I think it's Rolfe is how they said. And she goes back to England, okay, instead of doing what she should have stayed here and ruled over the other tribes. You know, that something was really wrong with that whole story, you know.
You just made me think of something too when you said about ruling, is this. They're saying that the bullies in school, there's studies, they're claiming that the bullies in school are actually doing a service because the strong will survive and lead. No, it doesn't work at all. That's so backwards. It's backwards. The best leaders, I think, are the ones that are reticent to lead. They don't want to grab the spotlight. Our best leaders are thoughtful people that aren't looking for the spotlight and aren't looking for the power. They actually, if they get in position, they'll be kind of reluctant to take it. Often throughout history, you see these kind of people, but they'll do a bang-up job, an incredible job, because it's not about that. It's not about being seen in these Congress and Senate. It's about, okay, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it well. I want to do it really well. And that's where my focus is. Again, where the core is. And so that's what I'm looking for with the more stories, to bring together people like that got the heart, the talents across disciplines to actually do the work well and enjoy the people benefiting from it, from our labor. I can't think of any greater joy than seeing children and elderly and others having a better life because we did something that made a difference in their lives. That should be our drive. Forget this Hollywood cabal idea of power and being seen and known. There's nothing more boring than a Hollywood party, because I've been there. It's like you go to these Hollywood parties, everybody wants to be seen. That's the most boring thing in the world. It's like going to the theater, and the theater entertainment is the audience all trying to be seen. That's not a show. That's ridiculous. And right. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be part of it. I don't care. I would love for the red carpet to be someday where no one's there. Just people strutting on the red carpet in their insanity, in their desperate need to be noticed.
Oh, and the money that they pay for the ugly clothes they wear. You know, I've noticed that no matter the uglier the shoes, the uglier the clothes, the more they cost.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. And what is a celebrity? Someone helped me out with this, because I said, I don't want to be a celebrity. And Aiden said the same thing, my son. And then they said, do you know what a celebrity is? I said, no. The definition of celebrity is worthy of celebration. So I'd like to be worthy of celebration, through my work. I'd like to be that I did my work that was worthy of celebration. Yeah, okay. Therefore, yes, I wouldn't mind being a celebrity on the basis that it means my work had an effect. Yeah, sure. Count me in on that. I don't want to be a celebrity because somebody PR'd me up there and I said fake ideas and fake lines and got totally doused with multi-million-dollar facial reconstructions. No, that's not what I want. I would like to earn a place in history where being in history means that people might make good choices in the future. If they hear my name, they may think, I want to do kindness also. I want to do exceptional work, especially youth. I want to encourage them. I don't want them to think of me as a god. I want them to think of me as an example of a fruitful life, So, and I think once we get our thinking straight, the right people leading the teams, the world will right itself. And that's what I think is that, like you said about the convergence of the timelines, the right people calling the shots, the right examples up there. Instead of the red carpet, I like to have the blue carpet, the blue pill, the blue carpet.
Yeah. I don't actually like the red carpet. It's a satanic sacrifice, which is what Sophia sent me a picture of herself on the red carpet. And I was like, you do realize that's like an Illuminati thing. And then she also sent me a picture of herself in a mask by herself. And then that's when I texted you and said, who is this? Because it doesn't feel right in here. And then she kept saying, send me a selfie. Send me a selfie.
She was afraid, Penny, of us working together, and her job was to cut us off. She's supposed to be.
I said, I'm not sending you a selfie. Yeah. There's plenty of pictures of me. I don't take selfies. Right. There's plenty of pictures of me on the web. Susie, I wanted to ask you, I know it's still in my head, Susie. Send me a selfie. No. Okay. If our conversation is predicated upon me sending you a selfie, I'm typing this out like we are done here. Because I didn't even say hello to her at all. But Susie, we have about 13 minutes left. I wanted you to talk about that movie that you had begun to talk about, what it was about, and then also you lost your brother during that movie. Would you care to share that?
Okay, yeah, the one that they filmed on my ranch. It was a guy named Brett Mauser, like a German gun, Mauser, right? He's the one. He was kind of a Catholic upbringing, so it took him 10 years to write 10 sagas for this movie, or series, I guess you would call it, right? I call them movies. Penny always kind of laughs at me, and she goes, "Was that a series or was that a movie?" I go,
"Right." She always says, "Hey, want to watch a movie?" And like 8 hours later, I'm like, "This is not a movie, Susie. It's a series." Okay.
Right. So that my brother James, my brother James, he was younger. He's my half brother. He started a Christian radio station out of the Austin, Georgetown area. And so him and I it was like hip hop rap. It was all for young people. It was just geared music for them. It wasn't for, my brother's like old people, they got their music, but I'm going to reach this generation. And that's who I'm going to do it for. So he had this radio station. Well, he wanted to have radio stations and he wanted to do movies and he wanted to do all this stuff. And so he got involved with some people that we met that, I'm still good friends with. And so they wanted to have some of this movie out there at my ranch. So my brother was buying these Crown Vic cars, and then he was turning them into police cars to use in the movie. And so he had gone home to work on it, and it ended up the car, they found my brother under the car like 20 hours later, and it killed him. So he died making this car for the movie, for the movie Innocent Killers, right? So he never got to, come back and use that car. So I lost my brother James, and that was like, he was like my whole life. And it was, and when I lost him, but not only that, but I lost my daughter 4 months before that. She was 19. And so I lost her, which destroyed me. And then he was my rock. And then I lost him. And it was during that movie, or the filming of that movie, which was really strange, so I get the loss. I mean, it's just like devastating,
Tell him what the movie was about.
The movie was about Satan had time traveled, and he had these coins, and it was about this president of the United States who was like the Antichrist, and so he was manipulating the timelines to stay president, so that he could stop time from ending, like in the Bible it says, he's going to face his judgment or whatever. So he's trying to stop that from happening. And so there's all these scenes where they're going back and forth, and in one scene there's people coming in through the border of Mexico into Texas and everything, and they're bringing a nuclear bomb in. And so one of my friends, Jake, he in the one scene, he's able to stop the nuclear bomb from going. It like explodes, but they jump into another timeline, so it stops a nuclear war on the United States and stuff. But this is all part of this movie, that went on. It was pretty intense, all the little scenes that they had and the way it played out, but ultimately, it's like ultimately God is going to have his way, no matter what they do. They can create as many timelines as they want. They can extend time, for whatever. They can do all this stuff, but in the end, still God's going to have his way, and I think that's the message right there, is that in the end, God still wins, no matter what they do. They know that. That's why I think it says that they're going to build underground bunkers and they're going to hide, because they know they're going to hide from the face of God, because they know that it's coming. Their judgment's coming. They know.
What's interesting is the story treatment for this. It starts with the Tower of Babel is complete. So it gives glory to God. And it's like they mock that, right? In fact, the Wachowskis stopped doing interviews because there was a gala where they were all gun set to do interviews after this was ripped off and the film came out in 1999. And so they're doing all these interviews. And then what happened was they're at this one event, and you can see the transcript from it. And they get this question asked that said, is there Christianity in the Matrix? There seems to be. Their response to that was, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you for coming. And they didn't want to do interviews anymore. And of course it's in here. This was to give glory to God. That's why I felt, whisper through art and talk about the Cabal and everything at the time. Everything's here. It's like, just prophetic that God gave me all that in there. And then, so they wanted to definitely take that. The theme is that man tries to outwit God and God outwits man. That is the theme. So they try to take that with the CIA as the main culprits. The agents are CIA, right? So it's like, it's battle where the agencies are going to come down. And
Tom, did you ever think in your wildest dreams that the CIA was actually running Hollywood? But now but when you were writing it, did you think that?
No, Penny, that's a really amazing thing. Great question, because when I wrote that in there, I wrote it because I felt led to put that in there, but I didn't know that was a fact. And when I put the fake Oval Office in, I didn't know that they're going to create a fake Oval Office. And it's like when the red pill, blue pill, and I put that in there, I didn't know they were going to make a red pill, blue pill thing. So when I put the enhancer, the brain enhancer, Neuralink, I didn't know they're going to create a Neuralink. So, and that's the real trouble for what we're facing here. If they make that Neuralink, which Elon Musk had nothing to do with Neuralink. He never even created it. It's other people that took my tech and he gets credit for it, but he didn't create it. He doesn't understand it. But the thing is that Neuralink is what can take our dreams, everything. That is the key to entrapping every man, woman, and child on this planet.
And they're doing it.
They're going to do it. And
they're doing it.
And they'll make it entertaining, like watch the monkey talk. Watch the monkey do these amazing things.
Yes, they've already transplanted it into a human being.
That's going to be the control thing right there, where they'll have our intellectual property. They'll think about this with the children. In the original screenplay, you take the memories from the person, you can download them. What about a young 7-year-old taking a bath naked? And they take her Neuralink. They'll get to experience what she feels, what she sees of her own body parts. A pedophile's dream.
Oh,
Disney's
my
dream,
word.
religious right dream, agency's dream. We cannot let the Neuralink exist.
I know that we're all supposed to be working together because they asked me how I found Susie. Susie found out that she was involved in time travel projects as well. I don't know if you were involved in them, Tom, because it sounds like you were.
I'm supposed to be that part of a team that it's almost like the word innocent. I know it sounds stupid, probably,
Like
but
the innocent
I'm
killers.
supposed to maintain an innocence that is right in the face of the cabal, the agencies, Disney, religious right. I am to be the face of an innocence that says they are wrong and succeed as an innocent. They say it can't happen. They actually say that if you're innocent and sweet, that you are food, you're weak, you're food for the powerful. And they say that's the laws of nature.
And that's why they want to taint us all.
Yes.
You know, the things that you were saying, I was telling somebody today that John had texted me when I was in Branson, and he said, I know this sounds cold, just don't feel anything. Get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and work until 12 o'clock at night. And then thank God when you wake up in the morning. And I had just gotten over leaving my husband, who was a horrific 25 years that I spent with him. And I could not cry or feel anything for 2 months. And I just had started feeling and crying again. And I said, thank you, God, for allowing me to feel again, because I cried an ocean of tears before I left my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said that to me, and he kept saying, you know, call me. And I said, no, every time I talk to you, I cry. And then he called me and I said, what happened to you? Because I'm thinking in my mind, I need a new agent, because my agent just told the singer not to feel anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what happened to you? And he screamed, I'm numb. And I heard that in my head, ringing in my head for like 6 months. And later on, I was thinking, he's always been numb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you don't want that to happen to you. You don't, but they want that for you. They want you to be void of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're void of emotion, then you can do the things that they want you to do.
That's why they
which
murder
is-
our children. That's why
Yeah.
they kill our children. That's why they're doing it, to have control, to break us, to remold us in their image and in the way they think. And we're not going to do it. And it's interesting that they make it like, I've had been in relationships, right, where a person will come my way and seek me out. And they're like, they want to know who I really am in the relationship. And like, come on, Tom, who are you really? And I'm like, I'm for the kids. And they think it's like, what? No, come on, who are you really? I'm for the kids. And they think it's boring, but it's not. I don't think it's boring to be for the kids. I think it's unique and exciting to be individuals that actually care. That's power. If you
Yes.
want power, that's power.
No, when I auditioned for Barbie Rocker, nobody wants to hear this story, but I sang a song. It was at the Beverly Wilshire, and I sang Whitney Houston's The Greatest Love of All.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, you know, I believe that children are our future.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a chance to make it easier. You know, the children are our future. And, you know, we need to be that example for them. And it's very difficult when they're in a world that is cruel and inhumane and lies to them at every single turn. We're almost at the end of our time right now.
I
I might just say this
Yeah.
too, Penny, real quick. One of the most rewarding things you can have is children then grow up and come back to you later and say, when they took your classes, like at Montessori or Waldorf, when you were teaching them performance, things like this, that they tell you later, you changed my life. You changed my life, and now here's what I'm doing, helping kids throughout Europe. It's like when they grow up and come back to you and tell you what that moment meant when they were a child under your care, there is no greater rewarding moment than that. It gives me teary right now. It's like to be told that you made a difference in an adult's life as a child.
I'll tell you what, almost everybody I've had a relationship.
Okay. She left the house.
She was that was wild. I
She
guess they
left
didn't
the house.
want anybody hearing this, did they? It's like, yeah, this happens all the time. I'm so sorry. Because that was an important thing she was just saying.
Yes.
So, yeah. Well, they can't stop it. They can't
I
stop
can't end the show. It's like the end of the show. I can't end it because I don't have admin. She's the only one that does right now.
it. You got
Okay, I am not sure what happened, but
Okay.
I
Well,
had to hit the reload.
I
I don't think we're still live. I think we got kicked off. But I'm going to go ahead and
it
hit
says live.
Where is Tom? I know he's got to be in here.
It says
somewhere.
live.
Oh, does it?
Yes,
it
you
says
need to
it's still
end it.
recording.
I can't end it.
Okay.
I'm
We're
not
at 2
admin.
hours and 37,
There's Tom.
33 seconds.
there I
There's
am.
Tom.
They're like making us go
Well,
in and out.
listen, just in case we are not live, because, yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
I
you
had
got
a
cut off
big-
because you were saying something really
Yeah, I have a big white screen pop up that said reload. I'm like, oh, really?
And what you were
It's a
saying
live
was so-
recording.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were
we
saying
were
something
talking about
so
kids,
powerful. It was
see?
like,
But,
oh, yeah.
right? But, Tom, thank you so much. I would really love to have you back at any time. Really enjoyed it. Can you tell everybody where, are you going other places on other podcasts?
That's the
other
wild thing. I have not been on Facebook forever. I've not been on Twitter. I can't even get on Twitter. Elon has me basically cut from Twitter, so he doesn't.
Does he?
Because I'm the actual Neuralink guy. So yeah, from the screenplay. So he's very upset with me, and yeah, that's been made clear. But anyway, so right now I'm in a beautiful place that I own now, but limbo on the air. So I peek out on shows, and so here I am.
Well, actually, Tom is on our show on the Trauma Triage team, which is every Monday. And then he also has a new segment. He's on every other Friday. And the new segment that we have is called the Dream Team, in which we analyze dreams. So, he's on our show every single week, every Monday and every other Friday. And that's the Awake Nation.
Yes.
And you can find us at theawakenation.com. We're Monday through Friday. 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central and 9 to 12 noon Eastern. And we're also on Rumble at the David Zublik channel. So you can find me there every day. And you can find Tom there every Monday and every Friday, every other Friday.
So you said it so well. I couldn't have done that. That's awesome.
I think she does it so much that it
Yeah.
flows
So
right out of her.
fluid. I was totally impressed. I was like, wow. Am I?
Anyways, all right, everybody. We are going to have to go. Penny already struck out the whole entire, put out the whole entire Great Awake Nation thing there. So we know where he's at. So I guess we're going to go ahead and we're going to call it a night. And once again, Tom, thank you. Penny, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Susie, Andy, and we're going to say good night. So y'all be safe
Good
out
night.
there and good night.
See ya.